Hello friends, and welcome to this video. Since there's a new Disney Plus miniseries coming out about Lightning McQueen and Mater, I thought it would be fun to revisit the original Cars movie and see why Lightning McQueen is such an interesting character. In this video, I'll mainly be talking about Lightning McQueen's character development through his actions and behavior, as well as his relationships with Doc, Mater, and Sally. In the beginning, he is very confident and arrogant about his racing skills. He's a rookie that rose through the ranks, which makes him feel even more like he is untouchable and that the world is at his feet. Although Lightning McQueen is a good racer and talented, he definitely thinks very highly of himself, which reflects in his racing attitude. He only takes gas instead of changing his tires because he's more fixated on winning the race, which eventually leads to his tires being blown out. His need to win causes him to basically hurt his own body to become victorious in the race. He also has no respect for his crew team, who works tirelessly to make sure that he's on his best game for the races. The fact that he doesn't really care that his crew team has quit shows how he's fixated on the numbers and the stats rather than the integrity and the true art of racing. It also shows his arrogance once again because he's trying to be like a one-man band and he's trying to be like a solo king rather than a team player. This character flaw is also shown again when the king is trying to give him advice, since he just zones out and focuses on his own successes and his dreams rather than hearing what an experienced person in the field has to say about the industry. He's also really focused on his branding and the kind of cars that he associates with, which also shows how uptight and self-obsessed he is. He doesn't want to be associated with rusties and rusty cars because he's so focused on being a racing car. It kind of shows how he's really taking for granted the people who believed in him and sponsored him to get him to where he is, and he's so ashamed of the people who have helped him that he's so focused on wanting to get to Dynaco and be and sign with them rather than show appreciation to the people who have helped him get to where he is. But this entire situation is really evident of the narrow-mindedness that Lightning McQueen shows in the beginning of the film, which, since it's a Pixar movie, that by the end of the film he'll be more open-minded and more caring. I think also one of the biggest flaws that he has is that he doesn't understand that there are consequences to his actions. When he tries to escape from Radiator Springs, I don't understand why he just didn't stop driving when the police was going after him. But anyway, this again shows his narrow-mindedness and how he is so in his own world that he doesn't understand that he has literally destroyed this town and the road that they all need to drive on. And it also shows that he thinks he can just get away with everything because of who he is, which is just so self-centered, and he's just so in his own world and in his own universe. He doesn't understand that there are other planets and that there are other universes and galaxies that are living right beside him. It's just really frustrating and really you really see how annoying he is in the beginning, how he's just so self-centered. But yeah, him being in the town allows him to meet Mater, Sally, and Doc, and each of these characters really influence Lightning McQueen's character throughout the film and contribute to his character progression. When he first meets Mater, he treats Mater as lower than what he actually is and tries to manipulate Mater to get him out of the impound lot. It shows that he isn't really caring for other people and he's just trying to get ahead of others. He's in his own world once again, and he doesn't really have the integrity to care about who people are and what they're doing, and he would manipulate someone like Mater so that he can get his way again. But as time goes on, Mater and Lightning McQueen's relationship turns into more of a friendship, and Mater ropes them into a bunch of shenanigans that cause them to have fun together. The tractor tipping scene really cements their friendship and shows Lightning McQueen how much fun he could have with other people and that he doesn't need to be so focused on racing all the time. And I really believe that this is the first time he has genuine fun in the movie, because I think in the beginning all the joy and fun he was having was superficial, but this is the first instance where he's able to have genuine fun with someone else and have a real conversation with someone else and connect with someone who wasn't after him for money. His relationship with Sally also influences his character development. In the beginning, when they first meet, Lightning McQueen is very arrogant and thinks that Sally will just fawn all over him, but Sally very quickly shuts this down and doesn't really care, which is like another way that Lightning McQueen is humbled. I think it's one of the first times that he's really turned down by a woman, which takes him aback. But once he begins to show the town that he's working on actually fixing the road that he broke, Sally begins to soften up to him. Another turning point for him, I think, is when Sally takes him on the drive and he notices the valley. I feel like this is a moment where he realizes the importance of staying in the moment and being present with the people around him. He's so in awe of the valley and of his surroundings, and he's having so much fun with Sally, and I think it really grounds him and brings him back to earth. It's pretty cool to see these moments and understand how characters are able to grow and learn from their past, and I feel like Sally and Mater are probably two of the most important people that ground and allow Lightning McQueen to realize that there is more to life than just racing. And the valley in this scene, I feel like he didn't realize what was beyond the racing world, and he was so just fixated again on his goals and and the stats and the glory and everything. But it's like he's viewing the world for the first time and seeing the beauty in other things that isn't just fame and glory. Lastly, his relationship with Doc is one of the biggest influences on his character and development. Their relationship is pretty rocky in the beginning since Doc doesn't like racing cars, and Lightning McQueen really isn't interested in helping anyone but himself. But their race changes their dynamics since Lightning is so confident in his skills, he doesn't understand how he was able to crash. I think that crash is just another instance of how he is so focused on the glory and the fame rather than the art of racing and the skills of racing. But later on, when Doc realizes that Lightning actually succeeds when he puts his mind to things, he begins to soften a bit and try to help him. When Doc offers help, Lightning pretty much ignores what he has to say, and when he tries to take the advice, he ends up executing it pretty poorly since he didn't listen, so he didn't know how to make that sharp turn. But this goes back to Lightning McQueen's stubbornness since he's unable to take advice from others and constantly has to assert that he is the most knowledgeable about racing. But pretty much after this, Lightning McQueen doesn't really care about Doc's advice until he has seen that he has won 3 Piston Cups and is a legendary racer. So I think that this kind of goes back to how he doesn't really take advice and how he's trying to get ahead because he didn't listen to Doc earlier in the film. But when he now knows that Doc is a racing legend, only then is he able to learning from him. And this also shows some of his narrow-mindedness because he only believes success and greatness can come from legends and not just an average person. And Doc shows Lightning McQueen the other side to racing, which he may not have paid attention to or thinks that will happen to him. He doesn't realize that the racing world is cutthroat and that they'll toss him aside if they think he's broken, which happened to Doc. But through this conversation, I think that Doc really humbled Lightning McQueen and makes him realize just how selfish he actually has been in his life. So after their talk, Lightning McQueen decides to stay after he fixes the road and just shows the town how much he cares about his relationships with them and how he cares about everyone. He lets Luigi give him new tires, he takes the organic fuel, he gets the surplus, and a bunch of other things. He basically interacts with the whole town in his own way, allowing them to share their business with him, and it shows how much he has grown to care for this town and these people. Or cars, I should say. Also, everyone's neon lights got fixed, so the town started to look like how they did in their heyday. And it also just shows how he's learned to slow down and appreciate the town, making him more present in the moments and less worried about racing. And the town really creates a lasting impression on Lightning McQueen, since when he is about to race in his finals, we see him do that little mini monologue of how he's speed and how he's super fast and stuff. But towards the end, we see how he begins to think of the town and the people during his monologue. He's not super fixated on racing and winning, and it shows how his priorities have shifted and that he's created lasting relationships and lasting friendships, and they've really influenced him more than he would have realized. Doc showing up as the crew chief with the rest, or some people from the town, not people, cars, I keep saying people, but they are cars, and them being his pit crew really gave Lightning McQueen the motivation and the support that he needed. I really don't think Lightning McQueen realized how much he needed to have a team until he left Radiator Springs, and now that he has one, he begins winning the race because they provide him the support, not only physically, but the emotional support that he was really blind to earlier in the film. And it even shows when he starts to drive backwards, because it shows how he's bringing in skills that like he thought were like useless. Like Mater's backwards driving may just seem like a small comedic action, but I think it shows how important it is for McQueen's development in taking advice and knowledge from other people. He's able to take advice from Mater, who's like seemingly not the smartest cookie, but he ends up using it, and I think that's pretty cool. He was even able to use the knowledge of like making the sharp turn of like turning right to go left from earlier in the film on the dirt too, not just like the road, which also shows his growth in his skills and his ability to take advice from other people. Then Lightning McQueen's decision to help the king finish his last race really shows his integrity and how he has grown to care more about the art of racing and the competition rather than the glory and the stats. Giving up the Piston Cup and everything he has worked for in this movie is a real moment of growth. It shows his selflessness and the importance of empathy and relationships with others. He also proves that he has his priorities in line and is more open-minded, since he wants to stay with Resties, the people that believed in him and gave him his break, rather than signing with Dinoco. Overall, this movie is great because it really talks about the importance of staying in the moment. I think this is important because oftentimes in our lives we don't really stop to appreciate life. I know that I have a hard time doing that sometimes, so it's really great to have reminders either through like cheesy sayings or through brilliant Pixar movies. This film also talks about being open-minded and selfless, as well as the importance of having support and being a team player rather than being so fixated on your own goals. Lightning McQueen is a great dynamic character that goes through a lot of mental obstacles leading to his personal growth, which I think everyone should have. I think it's a pretty great movie, and it's underappreciated because of the franchise it has grown into, but it executes a beautiful message of taking time to slow down and just enjoying the drive of life. And yeah. Thank you all for watching. If you have similar thoughts or differing thoughts, feel free to leave a comment and we can have a discussion. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night or whenever you are watching. And yeah, bye!